Accelerator podcast, we interview JD Allen. Stay tuned, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to the Communication Accelerator podcast, a podcast me and Vamsi started to coach and train you on the best leadership lessons, the best life lessons, the best career lessons that our best clients have to share with you. My name is Brenden. I'm the founder and CEO of MasterTalk, and I'm on a mission to help every single human being on earth become an exceptional communicator. And I'm joined today by my incredible business partner and better half, Mr. Vamsi Polimetla, the CEO and founder of Make More Leaders, Mr. Handsome, as we call him internally in our ecosystem. And on the Communication Accelerator podcast, we're here to teach you those lessons from our best clients. And before we introduce our special guest for today, let's quickly go through the sponsor of the Communication Accelerator podcast, which is, of course, Communication Accelerator, our 12-week flagship product to help you become an exceptional communicator. So if you're sitting here watching this interview and thinking, Brenden, Vamsi, I'm saying too many ums and ahs, looking all over the place like this. I'm scared of speaking. I don't have that confidence that I'm looking for in the boardroom, in my presentations. Then my friend, Communication Accelerator is exactly what you need. Go to communicationchallenge.com. That's communicationchallenge.com and participate and attend our 5-day free 5-day challenge to help you become an exceptional speaker. It's so much fun. Hundreds of people from around the world attend this challenge every quarter, and we want you to be there too. That's communicationchallenge.com. So that said, let's go ahead and jump into today's show. JD Allen is a real estate and retail entrepreneur, software engineer, and former Marine Corps instructor. He delivers superior returns through passive cash flow and equity building. By leveraging his military experience, JD ensures meticulous project management and maintains a high level of professionalism. And I will add, he is also the king of multifamily flips in all of America. JD Allen, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Hey, thank you, Brenden. How you doing?
Life is a gift. How about you?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. What about you, Vamsi?
Doing fantastic, JD. So
Good.
my first question, getting into this podcast, we're almost coming to an end in 2024. If you look back the entire year and you say, this is one of my biggest ahas in 2024, what is that for you?
Communication. I had the last 6 months of 2024 has been working on communication. I have been purposeful in trying to get better at it. I have practiced thousands of words to get better at it. I've also joined some multi-family mastery courses and have joined the Communication Accelerator class. And that's definitely the game changer for me.
Amazing. And tell us a little bit. Some people, they think like I know everything. I've been to university, I finished my master's degree, I've been working in the industry for 20 years, and I don't want to improve my communication because I'm really good at it. So, what is your advice for people who are thinking their communication is good, and what is your perspective on them?
Well, there's always room for improvement. Let's start with that. There's always room for improvement. And I believe not even just in real estate, but in communication. When we believe that we already know everything, we're failing. And the only way to improve is to continue to learn, continue to push ourselves, continue to drive towards the next tier, the next level.
Absolutely. I'll just take that beginner's mentality and see what you can improve on. Beautiful point, JD.
Yeah, really amazing point, JD. It's all about learning and growing too. And speaking about personal growth that Vamsi was asking you about, one argument that we see in real estate all the time is the buy and hold versus the buy the property and flip it. And you're in the minority of the camp in America where you're someone who's built their wealth not really from buying and holding real estate properties, but from buying a property, fixing it up, flipping it, and then using the cash flow to go to the next property. So what would you say to people who want to buy and hold real estate? What's your counter argument to flipping?
I mean, the first thing would be to look around at all the foreclosures coming up. Because there's a lot of foreclosures getting ready to happen because people have overpaid for some of these properties, right? So if you are going to buy and hold, you need to make sure that you're buying and holding at the right price. If you don't understand what that is, when you buy something and you flip it, you're still able to continue learning and continue moving forward, continue to grow while you're flipping these properties. And the second piece of this is something that a lot of people don't really think about. If I take a property and I flip it and I make 100,000 and I continue to do that flip over a period of years, 20 years, I might be sitting here with 10, 15, 20 million in my pocket, able to go buy this large multifamily. Whereas if I purchased something and held it, I'm only continuing to make that rent with a little bit of increase over the years. I'm not seeing the same kind of doubling. It's kind of like doubling a penny, right? Double a penny, same concept can come into play when you're talking about the flips.
I really love that opinion that you shared, JD. If you're doing multiple flips, you're just creating more cash flow for yourself to then create magic later. What was the moment in your real estate career where you realized flipping was more effective than buying and holding? Because there's so many people out there who argue that, JD, I see where you're coming from, but then you have to spend way more time finding the deal. You have to spend more time working on the deal instead of just keeping it and leaving it. So, what was that first moment in your career where you saw a big increase in your net worth and you realized, man, this flip completely changed my life. I need to go all in on this and not buy and hold properties?
I made around $3 million on one flip. And so when you start seeing the really big numbers, and it's kind of a numbers game, right? It's exactly the same thing as in sales. Maybe five out of those are going to actually make you money. One out of those might be the home run, and that home run might be what changes your life. The now I'm not opposed to buying and hold, because I do buy and hold some. But when I know that it's not something that I see increasing values over time in a certain demographic, then I will take my win and I'll move forward, move on.
Beautiful. Judy, you've been like really successful on many areas of your journey. You are like really good at software. You got into executive level role. Also, you're doing like multiple other businesses. The real estate is going pretty well. When you look back, what is your biggest regret when you look at maybe the past 20, 30 years of your life?
So that's a pretty good question. I can't get into specifics, but I wrote this software program and I did not have the business mindset when I wrote it. And I sold it for $10,000 back in the 90s. And it's crazy because after I sold this piece of software to this investor, he sold it to multiple hospitals, like dozens of hospitals, within months after that, and made millions of dollars. And I remember right then was when I knew that I had to start learning what business. I had to understand business concepts. I had to actually not be taken advantage of. I had to learn how to negotiate getting some fees and stuff out of transactions when I was working with really good business minded people. And it's just another one of those things: education, education, education. I completely messed that one up.
Mm, beautiful. If you had like maybe a mentor or maybe a proximity group at that time, you'd have been just position yourself as an entrepreneur and say, I'm not selling the software. I would have like maybe say, give the permission to just for you to use it and I own the rights.
Right. I went out and bought a car. That's the funniest thing. I bought a car and this guy was buying mansions. That's where we were at.
The car is like depreciating in the value. The guy who paid for the
Right,
software
right.
getting rich every month.
He did. He did. He took me for a ride, man.
Absolutely. So on the same question, JD, this is like very good on the your professional front. Looking into your personal life, what is something that maybe if you get a chance, go and correct something or change something?
I, I think my overall attitude has been key because when I was younger, I had more of I didn't have a really good EQ or emotional intelligence. Maybe that's how you say it. I think that I was more apt to just throw out an opinion. And it's kind of the same thing. I have learned to actually listen more and actually evaluate what's being said. And I don't respond immediately. I actually take that information, think about it, process it, then respond. That's probably been the biggest help for me professionally and in regular personal life too.
Mm, beautiful.
Really, really good shares there, JD, and really taking an inventory of those regrets in general. Going into that same line of thinking, I'm curious if your future self had to come back to who you are right now, your future self from 10 years ago had to come here and give you feedback on something you're doing wrong today, what feedback would he give you?
You know, I think that my future self will likely tell me to leave my W 2 and go all in. But, but I enjoy my W 2 and I love the aspects of engineering. And so I would probably go back to my future self and say, at the time it was the right choice for me. There will come a time when that's going to be the road that I'll take.
And
Mm.
speaking about that road, right, that journey that you'll take, what are the signs or the hints that you're looking for that you would tell your future self that these are the hints I'm looking for where it's time for me to quit my W 2?
I think a lot of it is when I'm spending all day working towards the real estate or working on branding and videos and things like that. I'm getting to the point where the I love multifamily. I love real estate. I love doing the videos. I love all the branding stuff. And so it's getting to the point where the amount of time that I have to dedicate to that is starting to go away. I've hit that tipping point, and which is expected, which is what I plan to do at some point, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Judy, see, in the life and also in the business, there is nothing like a straight line, right? You go up, you come back again, like maybe you pivot back up and again you come back. So everybody goes through this. Not even like single person in the world, like say like I went from 0 to 100 in a straight line. What is your typical mechanism when you fall from the top, and how do you get back? What kind of habits or rituals that you have in place to help you to bounce back from that bottom?
It's I have this ritual every single morning. I usually get up around 5:15. I will either do a 1 hour of reading a regular book, or I will do 1 hour of Audible every morning. And I also, um, I will, I will, no joke, I will literally listen to this Audible book for 30 minutes on the way to work in the morning. I will listen to it 30 minutes on the way home, and then I usually listen to it for an hour before I go to bed. So I'm basically putting 3 hours into books. And I always focus on either real estate, I focus on any investments, real estate, economics, or selling, anything that has to do with selling, right? And so that has, at one point, I used to look at total numbers read. And I think we like when I talked to you guys a long time ago, that's what I said is I'm going for this number. I'm trying to make this happen. And recently, as recent as like 3 months ago, I started to take some of the same books and repeat them over and over and over again. So I had a very good understanding, not just this thing that had been thrown in my head and I had forgotten. So I'm trying to really be good at truly understanding and comprehending each and every one of those things. The other thing is every single Friday, there is a song, Wear Sunscreen, or Sunscreen, I think is what it's called. I have listened to this song for like, I swear, almost 10 years. Almost 10 years. And it's because there are things in the song. It's not that great. It's a good song. It's not that great of a song. There's things in the song that it says to do and to take action to make sure that you're happy. And it really gets me motivated, usually on a Friday morning, and that's when I play it.
Amazing. So 1 hour in the morning, audible, on the way to 30 minutes, on the way back 30 minutes, and before going to bed 1 hour. That's
Yeah.
like your success mantra. And if you maybe suggest our listeners, these are maybe my top 3 books, maybe top 5 books. I will go back and listen over and over again. What are those books that come to your top 5 list?
It's all, it always goes back to Robert Kiyosaki. It's always The Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I've listened to probably dozens of times, dozens. And he's also got Cash Flow Quadrant, which I've listened to probably a dozen times. There are some other books, like I like to listen to 10 by, and the thing about 10 by that I like is that it's like you never go with what I think I can do. I always multiply that by 10 and start pushing forward with that. That's Grant Cardone. And he motivates me, whereas Robert Kiyosaki books actually give me a lot of thought. Like, one is motivational, one is, okay, am I thinking through all the possible scenarios to make this happen? And that's the thing I like about Robert Kiyosaki books.
Mm. And what is the book from Grant Cardone?
10 by. That's what it's
10
called.
by.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Amazing.
Wow, really good book recommendations. JD, thanks so much for sharing that with us. Now, my next question is around going back to multifamily flips. What do you think are the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to flip a property for profit?
Well, number one, if you're going to flip it for profit, you don't want to pay retail for it. So, so you are not going to flip a property for profit that's in perfect condition today. So you got to be willing to roll your sleeves up, get in there and work a little bit. Now, when I say get in there and work a little bit, I'm talking about you got to have the right people in place, the general contractors, you got to have the agents that know that you're willing to buy these properties. You have to know the people that can come in and get everything done basically for you, right? Even attorneys. The second thing is you have to know the right people in your demographic, or you will never be able to find a property, because those individuals, the entire um, the entire relationship is what's going to drive you to be able to keep your pipeline flowing. And last is have a constant pipeline. Don't get wrapped up into one property and don't fall in love with one property, because if you're in love with one property, you're going to lose money.
That's really good advice, JD. Thanks for sharing this. So many great tips, right? Never get married to one property, right?
Exactly.
Gotta spread the game. You gotta look at the pipeline. And speaking into that, obviously, one of your visions is to create more content for the world, especially for people who are flipping single family, so that they can get into multifamily and really create more generational wealth for the family. That's your vision. Talk to us a little bit more of that vision. Where do you see that brand going in the next 5, 10 years, and what can we expect from you in terms of the content that you'll be creating in that space to help people?
Yeah, so I've pretty much already wrapped up a book. That's coming along. I am working on putting together video coursework that will be available for a charge. There's a plan that I'm putting together that will involve like a mastermind group as well, and a few other little tidbits that I am planning to slide in there over the next year or two. It's not going to take a year, maybe over the next 6 months.
Exciting, brother.
A lot of, I think, good things on the pipeline. JD, so if somebody wanted to get into your industry, they have no idea how to do this real estate or flipping the houses or multifamily homes, what is the what is like maybe the best way for somebody to start? Is that they need like a $500,000, or they need like maybe patience, or they need a mentor? So what is the best way? I know mentorship is something that like it's important at every level, but what are the first maybe one or two things that you would recommend?
I think the first thing to do is decide if you really want to do it. You have to read some books. You have to
Mhm.
understand if you're right for that game, because you might not be. People talk about passive income. It's not passive. It's not going to be passive. You're going to have to get in there and work a little bit if you want to become good at it. And I would say the second thing is to have a mentor. I wouldn't go pay for a mentor though until you have read a few books and decided if that's what you really want to do.
Mm, absolutely, absolutely. First test with your passion, and see is that the place that you wanted to invest and your time and energy and resources.
Yeah.
Then find a mentor. Okay, okay. In a very high level, what is the minimum investment that anyone uh, um, wanted to consider? Like even like I have passion, I wanted to jump in. Is that a $10,000 is a lot of money, or maybe $100,000?
I can find something at every price point for you. So here's the thing. Like if you want to gain experience without money, you have to be willing to go in and work with someone. Find a partner that has money and make
Mm,
sure that you're both on the same, and with the same mindset. It's just like what Brenden said with marriage, right? You're married together, you're going to be with this person for a little while, and you're going to decide you're going to work together to make things happen. Now, on the other hand, if you have 50 or $100,000 sitting around, you could go in and start doing some house flips, and that's definitely a good way to take action. Start seeing if you're right for it. You might love it, and you might not. But you got to take the action, and you're going to learn so many lessons over just one flip that it's gonna teach you much more than you'll ever learn in a book.
beautiful.
Amazing. Amazing, JD. Really good advice. Really good thought, because not every game is for everybody, right?
Yeah.
You have to pick the game that works for you. JD, from me and Vamsi, it's such an honor to have you on the show and just having you in our ecosystem. You're an incredible role model for all of us, and we really appreciate you coming on the show. And of course, for everyone listening to the podcast, we can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Communication Accelerator pod. Take care, everyone. See you soon.